Welcome to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Duffy. Dental Entrepreneur Women is here to dive deep and share stories with the mission to inspire, highlight, empower, and connect all women in dentistry.
All right, everybody. Hello, it's Duffy, and welcome to the Just Do It podcast. I have just a fabulous dude as my guest today. I can't wait to introduce her to you, but before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about her. Sarah Cottingham, a visionary COO and business owner, is dedicated to helping others grow and succeed by seeing the potential in them that they may not see in themselves. Passionate about building people, businesses, and industries, she strives to create a lasting legacy through those who she inspires. Please help me welcome my dear friend, Sarah Cottingham. Hi, Sarah.
Hello. Thanks for having me again.
Is this your second podcast with us?
It is.
Oh my gosh. Wow, time flies. I've been doing this for so long. It's just so wonderful to have this time to chat with you and actually also highlight your amazing cover story in our summer edition. This edition is getting so much traction. I was at Productive Dentist Academy over the weekend in Dallas, and people were coming up to me now. I love this edition. I love the articles in this edition, the cover story, and there's so many good, yummy pieces in here. So thank you for leading the way. And I'm just so proud of you. I still remember the first time we met and how you've grown in your career and helping others grow in their careers, which I think that's pretty much your jam.
Yeah, totally.
But you evolved a lot. Bring us back a little bit to the beginning, because you didn't say too much about that in your article. And tell us a little bit about how you got where you are right now.
Wow. I don't know that we have enough time for the whole journey, but started in dental hygiene. Resistantly, my family was in dentistry, and of course I wanted to be a nurse first and took the long way to get there. But this is actually my 32nd year being licensed as a hygienist. I still maintain a license, believe it or not. You never know what the universe has for you, and just always have made that a priority. Very early in my career, I worked for a dentist that was a true visionary. Really where I operate from, all of that came from operating with him. He was a great man that just thought that everybody deserved fabulous dentistry and that insurance shouldn't be a limitation. And he wanted to do other things in his life besides just dentistry. And I thought that's how normal dentistry was supposed to be, that, you would work this big chunk of time and then you would take time off and go do other things that you loved. He would work in 8 to 10 day stints, and then he would take 2 or 3 weeks off, and he would go and he would ski in Telluride, and he was a ski instructor for more than 20 years in Telluride. So after I got out into the real world and found that dentistry wasn't like that, and it was a drill and fill world, and team members that felt unappreciated and overworked and everything that all of us know all about, I very quickly found a way into having a business mind inside of a practice and started behaving as an entrepreneurial thinker inside of one dental practice that I then managed, because I took it on as a job as a manager in the hygiene department. And when the dentist saw what I did there, he's like, well, how about if you just manage my practice? And then that turned into helping him do a bunch of fire sales and turn these practices around, build teams, build systems. And then he would sell half of the practice to the dentist. And after we did several of those, I figured out that there was something else for me. And I decided to venture out. And then I was recruited into a consulting company that I then bought. And I operated that for almost a decade before I was recruited into Spear. So I was recruited into Spear Education to help them launch their consulting division, Spear Practice Solutions. And I've just had this business mind and patient-centered heart, and being of service from the very beginning. It really took me to a place of trying to put patients into the business of it, so that it was the patient's health that drove the profitability of the practice and serving the people inside of all of that. And in that journey, I've had some ups and downs, and really started putting myself back into what it was that I wanted to do and how I wanted to inspire people. Because there was a point in time that I went to a really dark place because of a personal journey and came out of that even stronger. I truly believe that all of that was given to me by God and that I had to know what the contrast was in order to be able to know how much of a big difference that I can make for others. I have just not looked back from there. Then I just got into the position that I'm in now. I was introduced a few years ago to the owner of Dental Design Studios from a consulting side. And that merged into what would it take to work with you on a more consistent basis. And then fractional work came up. And then from fractional work, it was like, no, I think we need you more. So here I sit. We have 9 practices here in the Valley. I'm hands-on with about 8 of them. And just really growing this group in a completely different way, helping them dig in and get the systems back in place and bringing the patients back to the forefront. And all the while making sure that people are putting themselves into the relationship, making sure that they are serving themselves so that they aren't leading from being exhausted, leading from being half filled, leading from that scarcity mindset. Because if we go there, the people fail, they wither, they die. I went out to the garden the other day and I had this epiphany moment when I hadn't paid attention to my tomatoes and all of my tomatoes had not survived. And I was like, isn't this what it's like when we don't remember to be of service to ourselves? We have people withering on the vine. So I've just made it a mission to have that not be.
Wow. I'm really glad I asked that question because I actually learned a lot about you. And now I understand the gravitas that you have from your experience in dentistry and why you're in this position today, Sarah. I just admire the fact because I've known you for 8 years. At least we've known each other better as we've grown in our Jew community. And the fact that you have risen from the ashes, if you will, it's like a phoenix and you are better and stronger. And what a gift you are to, gosh, any practice that would bring you on because you get the fact that it's really about people and that we only have one life. That resonated with me so much in your article. It's just like, what is the now? What are we doing now for ourselves and for our patients? A couple of things. I love that you're still have your license. I still have mine after 46 years in dentistry. I can't give it up. And I love clinical. I'd love to just jump in every once in a while and help in that regard. And the other thing is there are a lot of dentists that are listening to this podcast. You can be that person for somebody like he was for Sarah. And that is the pebble in the pond. That is somebody that just ignites you and kept that flame going so that you are what you're doing right now. That little seed was started and you've just blossomed. And just see what you're doing with your private consulting group and the events that you're putting on. You're working with Jonathan Bonamo and people that are coming in and out of your life. I see that all the time and it just resonates with me as good people finding good people. And you are making such an impact. Can you imagine if every practice could have someone like you leading the way to show them that it's important to care for themselves and put the patients first? Look back for just a moment. And what is the proudest moment that you lean on as you go forward?
This one might be a tearjerker. Most recently, my youngest son moved out. Both of my boys are entrepreneurial businessmen. My younger one, he opened a business when he was a late junior in high school. His high school time was during COVID. So his senior year was going to be during COVID. And he came to us and said, I can't do it. And my straight A student, star wrestler, was like, I can't do it. And for 2 degreed parents, we kind of had to sit back and his dad was like, what do you mean you don't want to finish? You have to finish. And that was his last semester of his junior year. And I just said, we don't quit. So you need to finish. And I want you to finish this semester strong. And then we'll have a conversation. I thought that he would forget, but the resilient young man that he is.
Passing thought, right?
Yeah. When he knew what his grades were in that semester, he like hands me his straight A report card and says, okay, I'm done. I just was like, wow. And he's like, I just want to get my GED and I want to have a business. He got his GED and successfully owned a business since then. So he does vinyl wraps on cars and PPF and tint. And he had been living with me and operating his business out of the house. He just came to me and he was like, all right, I'm going to find a place. And so both he and my older son owns a business. He owns a mobile detailing company that does very well. He's bought his first home and he's been a homeowner for now 2 years. He bought his house in December of 2020. How time flies.
Wow.
And so they're 20 and 25. And I just really had to sit with that. There were some tough years. I have two very visionary, big thinking, independent, quick to fire young men as sons. I was always wondering if I was a good mom, a single mom, and their dad and I co-parented very well, but they know what it is to work hard and they know what it is to play hard and they're just out there doing it. I learned some of my biggest lessons about balance from the both of them. That's really my proudest moment as those two young men.
Oh my gosh. Good for you. As parents, we try to like mold them into what we think would be the best thing for them. And it's really hard to let go and let them soar on their own. And of course, that is the entrepreneurial spirit. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They lived with you as parents. Do what I say, don't do as I do. And here they are successful. And I know you're proud, and I would be so proud of them. They're independent, but they're also living their life on their terms at a young age.
They both spent the weekend up in Flagstaff, and the younger one has now taken on highlining as a hobby, which is where you string ropes between mountains and you walk on them and bounce on them. And I hike them, they highline between them. And the younger one decided he wanted to introduce his brother to it. And so, yeah, they most recently, last night, my oldest one sent me a video of him jumping off of a mountain and bungee across the cavern. And I just say, okay.
Oh, that's really taking it 10 steps ahead of where I was. And that's just amazing. But she was just to be young and daring. And I'm sure they study it. I'm sure they're harnessed, it's safe. But the fact that they have that love of adventure and no fear, I'm just like, wow, I'm proud of your boys as well. And proud as you as the mom. I think so often moms, we do beat ourselves up. I've used that phrase. I take no credit. I take no blame. I did the very best I could. In the end, it's up to them. But you've given them the wings to fly and the freedom to do it on their terms. So if you're listening and your mom out there, sometimes you just let go. And then, of course, if you're God-fearing, don't get off your knees and pray for them. But I'm really proud of you. That gives me some hope for just knowing that we've raised them well and now it's their time, which is really what you're doing in the dental practices right now, as far as the team members. I think as a COO, you do the operations, but you're still very involved in the culture. And I know you're big into culture and vision work and self-motivation. The epitome of a do is spinning at least 10 plates and keeping them all spinning at the same time. What are you doing right now that's lighting you up?
Jonathan Bonanno, have this adventure called the Psycho and Cito Experience, where we're putting together some intensive weekends and helping people just really get out of their own way as far as what is really lighting you up or what's blocking you from what you think will light you up. Because I think a lot of times what we find is that thing that we keep going towards or that we're seeking, that may not be the thing. And we make it mean that I got to go get that thing. I got to go get that brass ring and that brass ring. When that one shows up, then I'll be happy. And sometimes that thing is really not it at all. When people start really dissecting where they're at and what's in their surroundings and what's going on with them, they didn't define what it was that they really wanted from the beginning. Like they loosely defined it. I want to be making this much money. I want to have this much time. I want to be doing this with people, like whatever that is. And then when you get them to really write it out and state what it is that they want, and you start asking them about where they're at, they already got there. They're sitting in it, but they never even noticed because they're so busy making it mean that, oh, there's some other brass ring that they need to go chase. And I'm like, do the work on figuring out what it is that you really want to be doing and what's going to light you up and what's having it be a miss right now. There have been many times in my life and in my career that I had said that I wanted one thing or, a few things to be a particular way. Then when somebody questioned me on it, I've got a best friend that her and I think now we're at like 48 years. And she questioned me one time when I was saying something and she was like, "Don't you already have that?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually I do." I hadn't stopped long enough to actually notice when she called me out on it. And she said, most people would beg to be sitting where you're at right now. And I had to just really be humbled in, why do I keep ripping myself off from actually slowing down to enjoy it?
We don't celebrate ourselves often.
Yeah. The Psycho and Cito experience has really been the thing that is lighting me up because it has profound, lasting impact to help people just absolutely 100% change the trajectory of their life in the direction of what it is that they truly want to create. Out of the people that did the first weekend with us, we continue to hear how things are going well and how people are just complete 180s. That's what it's all about, helping them get the lift that they need and have it stick. Because so many of these things that we do, like it's great to go get the rah-rah. It's great to get the energy. It's great to get the shot in the arm. But when you go back home and then there's nothing left, you just didn't develop the muscle while you were there. It's been more about developing the muscle so that people leave there and go like, okay, yeah, I can actually do this. And then it sticks. And it's the same thing that I have to work on with myself, calling myself to do the things that I know serve me, getting my butt out of bed and going to CrossFit. I'm like, oh my God. And it was because it was something that scared the bejeebies out of me. It's been something that I look at it and go like, yeah, no, I can't. I could never. And then I'm like, Sarah Ann. I had to use my middle name when I talk to myself.
That powerful. Okay, like let's start.
Seriously, like you know better than that. So go do it. And so I have.
I've seen you push yourself time and time again. You have some kind of an inner drive, and I know it has something to do with all of your strengths, but tell me a little bit about the weekend, because I was reading, it's like there's cold plunges, there's red light, which I don't even know what the red light is.
Yeah.
Does everybody stay together for the weekend? Is it something like that? Tell
Yeah.
to know a little bit more about it, because again, if not now, when are you going to start living in the now? When are you going to start realizing that you can accomplish your dreams? And I didn't even know that I could have dreams. I go back on that, a lot of these podcasts. I'm like, yeah, so many people go through life and then it's like, wow, I didn't even know that that was even possible because no one ever saw that in me, or I never allowed myself to think that about myself. So tell me a little bit about the weekend so that, if somebody's interested, they can sign up for it.
Absolutely. And our dates have adjusted. So our date is actually in March, and I'll get those to you. But it has all different types of modalities, from deep inner work, really getting into using some NLP to get some of the blockers out of the way, physical movement, breath work. I'm actually currently getting certified in breath work. So my breath coach actually has a certification program. He comes in as a trainer and works with us on breath work and sound healing and plunging. So I plunge routinely. If I don't do it 5 days a week, I don't feel as up to par. So I'm in the ice at least 5 days a week. And red light is great for connective tissue, collagen, mitochondria. So really biohacking at its best. And having all of those things just come together. So good food, good people, good energy, moving your body, and all while setting those real intentions about what it is that you want and helping pinpoint, okay, let's really break down why you haven't. And sometimes people find that it's because what they said that they wanted and what they've been striving for, they really don't want that. Like they've been working really hard to be in partnership with someone or do business a particular way, when it's like everyone in the room can see that when they talk about it, they are not lit up. When they talk about just a little bit of something, all of a sudden their whole person changes and everybody in the room can see it. And they're like, is that really what you want? And really allowing the space and the safety for people to dig deep.
Wow, that is super cool. I'm not too old for that.
Oh, nobody's too old.
I know. I've still got a runway. I've got more to do in life. And where do I want to go? I can't wait to see what the dates are on that. And we will have to have another little live conversation about that. You are leaving a mark, and you've left a mark everywhere you've gone, especially when I think about your track record and all the different people that you have impacted along the way. I think you're putting that all together, digging a little deeper into what that means. What do you think your legacy will be? Or what are you looking for? Tell us that.
For the longest time, I thought that legacy was the bank account that I would leave. And it was the inheritance that would be or not be there. It's just not that for me. My legacy is inspiring people to live their absolute best life and that they are out being 100% who they are, who they were meant to be, and just being fully fulfilled and present, making their difference from the place in the ground that they stand, wherever they're putting their stake, that they're able to touch lives in a really big, beautiful way. And from there, their ripple effect and the lives that they touch is really my legacy. If I can get more people doing positive things that they do with pleasure and that they're joyful doing it and they do it with love in their heart, if it's about making money for them and they're making money, then great, that's an aside. But just that there is more positive things being generated from people from whatever stake in the ground that they're putting in the ground. And that could be dentistry. I work outside of dentistry. People who have come to the weekend aren't in dentistry at all. And when I consult, I do audiology, I do chiropractic, I've done plastic surgery, geriatric medicine. It's all just a widget. And it's just all about humans working with humans. I got really present to that the Bible doesn't say anything about retirement.
That's principle number 9. Start and don't stop, do's don't retire. Remember,
Yeah.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah, it's just like if you're given a gift, you weren't told to ever go hide it. So that's what my legacy is, just to keep sharing.
Oh, I love it, Sarah. The biggest part of that is how you help others find their light, their gift, and the confidence that they have something to share and something to contribute, because that's what we're all put on this earth for. And
Yeah.
it doesn't stop by a number, right? You and I probably still have our dental hygiene licenses. We're in our 90s.
Can you have them till you're 100?
I'm sure we probably can. You are just such a gift. You're a gift to me and a gift to so many. I'm so happy to be able to share a little bit of Sarah Cottingham on our platform today. Gosh, and how do people reach out to you just to get some of your coaching and also find out about the retreat that's coming up in the first quarter of 25?
They can email me at Sarah, SARAH, Incito Enterprises. That's INCITO Enterprises, the full word with an S.com, or they can call me at 480-861-8109.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. And then we will have that in the show notes. And I told you before we get started here, I have to read your bio from the magazine because it was so cute before we end. This was the bio she submitted to Do magazine. Okay, Sarah Cottingham is the proud mom of 2 entrepreneurial young men, an avid hiking enthusiast, a cold plunge diehard, a unique badass entrepreneur, and dog mom. She consults across industries, believing that people who grow businesses. As the CEO of Dental Design Studios and owner of Incito Enterprises, she champions personal and organizational growth. Co-host of Serving the Servant Weekends, Sarah inspires and transforms, changing the planet one person at a time, a lifelong learner, door opener, and change maker. And Sarah, that is so you, as I know you, and that just caps off this podcast today. It's a joy, again, to know you, to follow you, and to be with you. So I'll see you at the Do Retreat if you're listening,
Absolutely.
Sarah. Our 6th annual Do Retreat in Charlotte, North Carolina in November. All the details are on our website, do.life. Come join us. Let's hold hands and let's just keep lifting others up, Sarah. Keep doing us.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
You're welcome. And if you're listening, don't forget to always keep doing you. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye, Sarah. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much. Love you.
Love you too.
Thank you for listening to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Ann Duffy. To learn more about dental entrepreneur women, to share your story, or to join the movement, please visit our website, do.life. That is DEW.life. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app to make sure you don't miss an episode. And in the meantime, keep doing you.